What's happening? Is everyone tired? Well, you guys aren't tired, but maybe the rest of the world must be tired. Hopefully they can hear us now. Usually Carly starts us off, so I'll let you go back to your hosting abilities.
Oh, okay.
I'm the co-host.
Okay, everybody. So we're back. Hello, hello, hello. So give me some ideas. What's going on with the market? Those people, those
Hopefully
people,
everyone that's not here is out selling.
those people want to speak up. Eh? Market's unbelievable.
I don't know about other, but yeah, some interest on the selling side.
So we came with some market stats. I mean, the end of the month came in there, so we've got some numbers there. But I'm just curious. Everybody's hoping that on June the 5th, that the interest rates were going to come down, and they did.
Yeah.
So, is everybody happy?
Yeah.
I'm saying yes. People are happy. People are happy. Yeah.
I don't know if no one really talked about it, to be honest. Other than agents.
I don't know. I'm just thinking that usually interest rates come down, then things get busy. Like Tom Mohammed, they're doing open houses. Open houses this weekend. They got lots of people there. You're saying what? 15 people came through.
50.
50 people during the open house.
Woo. So you got some people.
We put this to the flyers to the whole neighborhood.
Nice.
Went to the mosque to the windshield papers on Friday mosque prayers. Back there.
Yeah.
Went to the Monday, the temple on Rock, just south of it.
Mhm.
So we attended the neighborhood. Yeah.
Yep.
Sunday was raining, but that was like that.
Wow. So people that aren't online, Mohammed followed some of the strategies that I taught you guys 2 weeks ago, which was really just invite people, right? Instead of just posting on MLS and praying that people show up. So how many people came from that? Do you know? From your flyers?
The neighborhood lost the game.
Because you door knocked or left stuff there, yeah.
Didn't do the best of anybody, but
Yeah. Very good. 50 is a lot. How many did you get any potential leads out of it? Or buyers or sellers?
I did hold all of them.
Yep.
But I texted everyone after the fact that thank you for the buy. And then one morning, I'm going to email thinking of these opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah, actually on that point, when people come with agents, I still think it's important to still send them a text to at least be like, hey, I know you got an agent, but you're not going to get any notice unless you booked a showing with your agent. So if you guys are interested in being updated on notifications, have your agent call me or something, and then, or at least get them on an email. Because otherwise, if you're doing preemptive offers or anything like that, they're not going to get zero notice if they just came to the open house and their agent has zero showings or anything popping up. So I don't think is it interfering if you text them to say, hey, have your agent call me? Or like, I don't know what the rules are.
I was just gonna say most clients, not most, I don't know, I'm guessing here, but most clients will say, yes, I have another agent. Doesn't mean they doesn't mean they signed an agreement.
Yes. They just know someone.
Right. So in fact, I would almost suggest that that they do not, most people do not get VRAs done till they get an offer done.
Mohammed, they're asking, what day did you door knock and how many flyers?
200 flyers are printed out.
200 flyers printed out on Thursday.
Friday, I did 75 to 85 flyers at the mosque.
Okay, 75 to 80 at the mosque. Wow.
What's that?
I'm repeating it for them.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Because that's the Friday prayer for most credits. The property was.
Okay.
I figured they're coming in maybe.
Yeah, it's very smart.
Then that was a rainy day, so my car got a little soggy, but it was still worth the
Yeah.
effort. Then we did Saturday morning at the Monday, the temple.
Very cool. And do you think it helped having do you think it helped having the flyers, or was it just a really good property? Okay. Very good.
I know you had some discussions with Carly, I believe, on your open house, on the actual flyer itself, the open house card. Did you make any changes to that, or?
I used one of the templates of
Moxie Works.
yeah, exactly, that's one.
Yeah.
So it gives you all the different formats, different templates. So I just customized it. It also went on Canva. It was because I have a subscription there, and I found the Canva one better.
Yeah.
I just uploaded my own pictures, put the dates in there and.
Did you try a QR code or
Sorry?
did you try a QR code?
I did, and in fact, that was a great suggestion,
This-
because
this-
I
this-
totally missed that. But then we created the QR code with Charlie's help and started right in the middle, just wanted to picture that.
Yeah.
My suggestion was that don't show everything too much, that you don't have to come and check
Yeah.
the website. They put one picture up sort of right in the middle and.
Where'd the QR code go to?
Go to, neighborhood.
Neighborhood news? Oh, cool.
Sign up.
Yep. So then you know who's checking it out.
Just those people home there, what we're suggesting people do, they have a QR code on your card. You have like an open house card. This person, not our company, will have an open house card and they've got a QR code. And then where's that QR code go to? It could go to the feature sheet. Or what was suggested, it could go to your neighborhood news. And basically the headline would be, what's my house worth, or something to that effect. You know, hit this QR code. People do the QR code, they fill in some information, they'll get the neighborhood watch. And you'll get the information when they fill it out.
Yeah, as opposed to just a QR code that just goes to like maybe the website of the listing. You don't know who's actually going to it. So if you're doing something where it collects contact information, then you know who's actually getting it, and then you can follow up with them, add them to your database, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Now, the other advantage you got, Mohammed, is that once that property sells, you go, hey, by the way, I sold this property, and hopefully the neighbor is going to see what kind of work you did to get that property sold, and they're going to say, I want to sell my place, maybe I'll give Mohammed a call.
Yeah, I had a lot of very constructive conversations with the neighborhood, right?
All right.
They were asking the pricing.
Right.
A lot of them have bought.
Yeah.
bought-
So you really want to squeeze that, banana, as they say, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go through the effort of doing an open house on a Saturday, Sunday, you might as well make it worth your time, right? And actually get people to come to it instead of just sitting, twiddling your thumbs and going home.
The follow would be the sold.
Yep.
Yeah, just sold.
Exactly.
Anybody else do any open houses on the weekend? No, nobody's going to put up their hand after all that.
Yeah.
Anybody else put open houses? Anybody else?
Idris?
Idris, how'd you do then?
That's pretty good.
6 and 2. Okay. Yeah.
And did you invite people to it as well? You did the door knocking and all that before? Okay.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all you gotta do. As long as you do it, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss.
Anybody else? No. Okay, so let's go into the numbers here right now. Just then we'll get some other stuff there. We want to talk about realm. Does everybody convert to realm, by the way?
Anyone freak out when it was realm that kept opening up when you click search properties?
I'll get back to realm later on, but is everybody okay with that? I mean, it's almost like you're forced to do it.
Hopefully we
Actually-
gave enough heads up.
I showed you some tricks last week where you do the broker sheet and change the layout. But there's
That
a quick,
actually
but there's
helps.
actually a quick way to do it too, but I don't want to talk about it right now. I'll talk about it later. So sales themselves, according to my numbers here for May, let's go back to May a little bit here. Sales for everything was minus 23% when I use my numbers, not the market watch numbers, but my numbers. They're down about 23%. 21% was for the freeholds, and condominiums were down 26%. Is anybody doing the condominium market right now? Is anybody trying to sell condos? Anybody notice a bit of a slowdown there?
I'm getting a lot of panic calls on condos,
Lot of panic calls on condominiums.
including condo town.
So just a recap of the numbers themselves. So the Greater Toronto Area benchmark prices, benchmark, not average price. Do you guys know the difference between the benchmark prices and average prices? Benchmark prices uses the HPI index. And it uses that same house and reevaluates the same house each time. So it's not an average price, it's actually that house itself. It's actually more accurate than average price, because average prices get screwed up when a $10 million property gets sold. It affects the average price. So benchmark prices are sort of more accurate. Harder to explain, but more accurate. But anyways, even though Treb says here that the sales for the average price for, no, actually it went down. Okay, take that back. So the average benchmark price for GTA is down 3.5% from last year. So that's the units, not a whole lot. Average price for the average home in Toronto actually decreased 2.5%. Detached houses themselves, again, 3.2%. Semi-detaches, decreased 2%. Townhouses decreased by 6.9%. That's a lot, for townhouses down. And condo markets, down 2.4%. So overall, it wasn't very encouraging, right? But at the same time, people wanted things to drop. People wanted prices to drop, and people wanted more inventory. So we got what we were asking for, right? We wanted more inventory, which you did, and we wanted prices to drop, which they are. So here we are. It's a good news, but not dropping a whole lot. Trev on the Market Watch, you're saying there were 7,000 sales in 2024. Last year was 8,900, so it had a 21.7% overall drop in units. New listings were 18,000. They're actually up 21%, and active listings at the end of the month are 21,760. So 21,000. What we used to see? 8,000, 7,000, right? So now it's 21,000. It's actually active inventory is increased on the Toronto Real Estate Board by 83%. Yikes.
Yikes.
Right. Next, days on the market, 19 days versus 14 last year, and average days on the market with council relists are 28 days. Last year it was 20, so actually market's increased by 40%. So if you've got a property sitting there that's been there for longer than 2-3 weeks, looks like today it's taking about 28 days to sell, just to give you an idea.
So would you recommend changing the 21-day rule to 28 days?
No, 21 days still.
Still keep it at 20.
Yeah. Months of inventory, 3.1. So 3.1, we're still in the seller's market according to that number here. Would you guys say we're still in the seller's market or buyer's market? What are you thinking? The reason why I ask that is a lot of people come to me saying that there's lots of inventory but nothing to buy.
I would say it
I've
depends
seen
on-
some heads, and when I say nothing to buy, what did Chris say there? Those people who are at home didn't hear him, but he said that a lot of people treat like a doormat. They tell you, they want you to cut the lawn, you can clean the house before they do anything. But the market itself, that's the type of houses out there right now. They're getting these houses that they're not moving ready.
A lot of tenanted properties.
Right. Yeah. So if anybody's been around a long time, they know me. For me, it's nothing to do with the condition of the price. It's nothing to do with the lawn grass. Nothing to do with anything. It's have to do with the price. Price fixes everything, right?
Would you argue that detached would be in a seller's market, condos would be in a buyer's market?
Could be. You could argue that. Yep, you could argue that too. Looking at the Market Watch, and just so you know, these numbers here, even though this shows the sales at minus 21%, May of last year, May of 2023, there's 8,900 sales. That was the biggest month in the entire year for 2023. May was the highest month in the entire year. So we're comparing May of this year versus May of last year. May of last year was the best month. So I'm not surprised that sales are down 21%. If you follow me there. So you got to follow that. But on the condominium side, people seem to be talking about condos that are having a hard time. If I look at Market Watch condo new listings for 2024, new listings were 5,500 this year. Last year there were, May 23, there were 4,300 new listings and 4,000 active listings. This year, there's 5,800 new listings and 8,000 active listings. So it's no wonder the condominium market is competing. There's lots of competition for the condos, and it's not there. Has anybody done any pre-construction condominiums recently? Because they're all talking about that being a tough sell right now. Average price, even though the average price went down last year, some people say that you're better off comparing April to May rather than May of this year versus May last year. May last year is a completely different market, different time, different things. So it's better to compare it to April, which is not a bad idea. So if I do that, the average price for May, as we said, was 1,165,000. Last year was 1,195,000, but
It's 115, I think.
in April it was 1,555. So we started the year off at 1,025,000 in January. Then it went to 1,109,000, then went to 1.12, then 1.15. Now it's 1.65. So the prices have actually increased every single month this year. And again, it's the average price, not benchmark. So that's all good news. Nothing wrong with that. If you want bad news, you just look at the numbers for, as of, June the 9th. Anyone want bad numbers?
Just pick them.
Pick them, pick them. Active listings as of yesterday, 23,010.
Ooh, well, that's good, but
Of those 10,400 are condominiums. The largest number of condominiums has ever been for sale in the history of keeping records going back to 1996.
Well,
The maximum for condominiums has been 8,000. Actually 8,900. So now it's over 10,000. So there's more condos for sale now than there's ever been in the history. But they're building more condos as well. So you gotta know your story, right? You gotta know the audience. When you're talking to a seller, you're talking to a buyer, you're talking to, you can play with all the numbers you want, right? So you're correct. Obviously, there's gonna be more condos for sale because there's 20 times more condos out there than there was in 1996. Of the 23,000 active listings, 11,000 of them are owner occupied. And I've talked about this before. Owner occupied, meaning half. Half of them, actually 48%, are owner occupied, which means that, and I break that down to condos versus freeholds. 59% of the freehold units are owner occupied. 35% of condos are owner occupied.
wow.
35%, right? So that's a big difference, right? If I look at the tenanted properties, as for tenanted properties, of the 23,000 active listings, only 3,000 are tenanted, 14%. 10% are freeholds, 20% of condominiums are occupied by tenants. And these are 20% are people trying to sell a condominium or a freehold house with the tenant existing. So you almost, if you're a buying agent, you're buying a property, you got 10,000 condominiums to check out, and there's 2,000 are tenanted. Which properties you're not going to show? Is that like, as soon as you see a tenanted property for a condominium, even a freehold for that matter, but condominium especially, do you guys move on or do you actually show that property?
Unless it's something really good, probably.
So I'm looking at, would you guys show it anyways? Would you guys show a property that has a tenant in it?
I will avoid it.
if you had choice.
If you had a choice,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, just-
So the only way that you're gonna be able to make that property sell with the tenant is make sure the price is the point where you don't have a choice. So you're not gonna be able to get the premium price and a defect with the tenant. They don't match. So if you've got a listing sitting there right now that's not selling, that has a tenant, there's a problem. And the problem is the landlord's problem. You can't fix it. The only way you can fix it is price. You can't get rid of the tenant. You can't ask them to leave, can't do anything. So you're fixed. So if you've got a client like that, then be careful. Of the properties that are vacant, 23,000 vacant, 33% of them are vacant, 7,500 of condominiums, 42% of these properties are vacant. And on the freehold side, 25% are vacant. So there's 4,400 of these condominiums that are vacant. And the city's crying down there saying there's not enough spaces, there's not enough housing. And then you say, well, there's 4,000 vacant condominiums. Well, no, not enough affordable housing. They'll change the words.
Too expensive.
All right, so it doesn't matter. So there's lots of condominiums out there, lots of things to do with there on the vacant side. Sales for the first 9 days in June, unfortunately, they're down. Chris said minus 50% in Barrie. Toronto's not minus 50%, it's only minus 37. Condominiums are down 43%, freeholds are down 33%. So it looks like the condominium market's bit of a flush, right? So if you got listings there, anybody here trying to sell condos right now? Anybody have a condo listing that's not?
Had a
up
few
there?
people reach out with struggling condos.
Yeah. Yeah, I think condominiums are probably the easiest thing to price, aren't they?
You'd think so.
It's price per square foot plus the locker plus the garage. And if
And
the
the exposure, then also what floor they are.
Right.
height and exposure, but it's not that hard to, it's what is it, $1,100, $1,000 a square foot for resale right now? Just a ballpark. Depends on the building, right? It depends if it's an older building that has high maintenance fees, it's gonna get $700. I mean, all just, but you can figure it out though. But the property, if the condo's not selling though, it's.
Problem is a
Pete,
lot.
what is it? It's price.
I guess the problem is a lot of sellers are probably losing money, so they're pricing them high to try to at least break even or
Hmm.
survive.
So
but-
during COVID, during the 21, I guess, 21, 22 is the big year, right? We said that 1 in 4 properties being sold are being sold to people that already owned a property, so they're investors. So 25% of properties being sold at that time were being sold to investors. So if you had clients that were buying back, then you need to get a hold of them and see whether or not the investment environment is still positive for them. And if it's not positive, then why are you hanging on to it? Right. So you got to think about that. We also have a lot of people that bought in 21 and they took 3-year mortgages. Those 3-year mortgages, I've read here, 76% of all existing mortgages are coming due this year. Seems like a huge number. I don't believe that number, but it doesn't really matter whether it's 76% or 20%. It's a huge number. Another reason to talk to your clients. Right? What's your options? What's going on out there? So they did drop the interest rates for the variable rate people. So anybody here know off the top of your head? I've heard 3 different numbers here. Off the top of your head, what is the discount? What does that say of a client? That quarter point per 100,000. So about $15 a month. $15 a month, right? On $100,000. So if you had $1 million, it's $150 a month cheaper. So it's not gonna break the bank, but psychologically it's gonna mean something, right? And it's funny. I talked to some agents there, and they said, "Oh, the interest rates went down." This is the following day, and they said, "Yeah, when's the next one?"
Yeah.
Let's get over the first one.
Well, I don't know if Bruce Kelly's on here, but he did a Facebook post last week just laying out what that rate was. And he's like, it's only $60 a month off your mortgage. So like it was a drop, but it wasn't a dramatic drop. So
But psychologically,
want more.
it's the right direction, right?
So someone's asking just for, I know where it is, but where do you get your market stats for the weeks? Just in case someone's, because we obviously know the monthly ones are coming from Toronto Market Watch, but where do you get
So I get my stats on Realm.
you just manually do it.
I manually do.
It's a Sunday
It's really-
hobby.
It takes me like to do all this stuff here. This is quite a bit. Maybe it took me 5 minutes.
Danik says Sunday night dinners are a lot of fun. It's your hobby.
Active listings 12,600. Freeholds represent 4,000. Condos represent 8,000. Condominiums leases are actually only down 7%, 10%, and the freeholds are down 17%. So the leases themselves are picking up. By the way, properties that sold for over asking, like a lot of people have run away price it, right? Price it low, price it high. Our thing is under $1 million, price it low for multiple offers. In between $1 million, $1.4 million, $1.5 million, flip a coin. Anything over 1.5, price it nearer to what you want. That's what we've been recommending. So that anybody
To list at what they want.
knows that. And here's the issue. We've had guys that they want 1.6 and that they will I'll offer 1.4 and I'll get multiple offers. You get multiple offers at 1.3. That's what's going on. That's why we're saying if you want 1.6, 1.7, that's what you need to price that. Don't price at 1.4, you're not going to get it.
And just wait.
All right, so that's the strategy there. And then I checked Broker Bay, and then on Broker Bay, I can see, I'll show these, I don't know if you can see here, you can show it at home.
Yeah, they can see it. Kind of.
Oh, you can see behind me?
Yeah.
Good, okay, so you can see the gold line, and you can see the blue line. Blue line are appointments this year, the gold line is appointments last year. What I wanted to see was, what was the effect of the January 5th interest rate? Did we get an increase in showings because of that? That was sort of my end goal, to see what's happening. So you notice how on the June the 5th, the appointments were consistent, and then they started picking up on June the 7th, 8th, and 9th. June 7th, 8th, and 9th is when it trended up. And the gold one there was no decrease in interest rates, and the gold one stayed even. So last year it stayed even. This year we had a bit of a bump with the interest rate. So even though it's only $15, we did get a bit of a bump.
What's the point?
That interest rate reduction is good. that there's showings out there. If your property's not getting showings, there are showings out there. It's a positive news. I want to see what was the reaction to that positive news. Instead of getting an opinion, I want to see fact. Is that it? You're welcome. A cynical person would say, yes, but Claire, there's twice as many listings, so obviously there's gonna be more appointments.
Fair.
There might be twice as many listings, but there's not twice as many buyers. I don't think. There's people saying there's not enough inventory. Well, here they are. Toronto home buyers are holding out for a rate cut as May sales prices fall flat. So they're saying here that even though it went down, people are wanting more down. They were looking for like a half a point down. They're not looking for a quarter point, looking for a big number down. So some buyers are still waiting. Is that you guys getting that same feeling? No, same feeling that they want a little bit more, not enough more. Toronto real estate spirals as inventory surges, demand hits historic low. So this is something you're going to show your sellers, right? Headline. Home buyers experience less competition in May. That was another article we talked about things there. So the market's okay. Hardly anyone is building or buying condos in Toronto anymore as market flips. So the new condominiums. Is somebody doing pre-condo? I know that's not before. I know that one agent seemed to be very, very active with it. I'm not sure everybody else, but the sales for pre-construction this year are at 15-year lows, and their numbers are down 85%. And there's about 60 units that buildings have been put on hold in Toronto. So their sales are down 85%. Their inventory, our inventory, what do we say, 3.1 months? Their inventory is, I'm gonna guess. No, I don't have to guess. 22.8 months. They have 22 months of inventory. Pre-construction. Rates are going down. Is now a good time to buy a house in Canada? Yes. Or you can read this 10-page thing, right? I think it is. Good. When rates go down, prices go up. What's in store for Toronto? The Bank of Canada cut. So the people are talking about the prices going up, which is good news, I guess. So this is an article you want to show your buyer. As rates go down, the price is going to go up. So you might want to think about buying now rather than later. Inventory is twice as much as it was this time last year. So now you got more selection. So the buyers are waiting for what? Waiting for price reduction and waiting for more inventory. You got both. So contact those past buyers and make sure that they're okay, that they're still on track. So even though our sales were down 21%, as Chris was saying, there are different parts of the country are doing different things. For instance, last week I told you how Calgary market was picking up, and the Calgary market was doing very strong. But the Calgary market average income, I think, was the median income for Toronto was like $100,000, and the median for Calgary was $97,000. But the but the prices in Calgary were $750,000 average. So obviously their sales are selling more, but they get twice as much money in the same income. Montreal, same situation. Montreal, they reported their numbers, and they're saying their sales ticked up from last May. Not much, but they went up 3.6% from May. So how is it that Montreal and Calgary are going up and Toronto and Vancouver are not? I think because Toronto and Vancouver had that rush of buyers years ago, and the prices are too high. I think that's the situation, but it is what it is, and we're used to that. Toronto East End home with a move-in ready basement suite sold for $130,000 over asking. This is the headline. But in the headline, the agent says we priced it low on purpose, knowing that it wasn't the right price. So you get clients coming to you saying, "Oh, the prices are increases. My friend got more than asking. The market's hot." Well, it's not hot, just that it's a strategic price. Yeah. Good, and that's it for numbers. And I have other stuff. So, you want to talk about?
Would you want to talk about Realm?
Realm at the end.
At the end. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Chris Leader. Because only a few of you guys were here this morning. So again, my online people, we do, or you guys too, at 12 o'clock every Monday, Chris Leader does a session with you guys. Unfortunately, it's only in person, unless you guys want access to it at home. I think it's like $30 a month is what we pay to have these sessions. But today he was doing lessons from his father because I guess Father's Day is coming up this weekend. which is another reminder of a client touch point for you guys if you guys are thinking about different ways to reach out to your clients. But he was just talking about different points that his father taught him. I guess he owned a clothing company back when he was a younger kid and taught him some lessons on business. I'll only go over a few of them, but he's talking about in markets like today, how you have to chase a buck. Especially like these days, you may hear about someone that's thinking about buying or selling a home. And what most people will do is like, you'll give your business card to them and say, hey, like, let me know if you have any questions. Same thing with like, even like our own mom. Our mom always asks us for business cards so that if someone's like asking about business, she'll say, give me your card so I can pass them out. But he was talking about taking more of a proactive approach now. So instead of giving your card out to people, we need to be a little bit more proactive and ask them for their contact information so we can reach out to them, because high chance you're going to give your cards out, no one's going to call you. Same thing we were talking about postcards. We can hand out all these flyers for all we want, but unless you're figuring out different ways to get their contact information, it's going to be very impossible, or we're always just going to be sitting by our phones waiting for someone to ask us questions. So anytime you meet somebody new, try to get their contact information as opposed to always just giving your card out and praying that they do the follow-up. Even talking about in a slower market like today, or if you are finding things are slow, this is a great time to start doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. So we talk all about the systems in place, prospecting, doing your follow-ups. Like I said, Father's Day is coming up. So really like getting your business organized, this is the right time to do it, because when the market does start to pick up again, it's gonna be really hard to catch up. So during these slow times, don't just get all sad about it. Come to the office, organize your business, keep doing your touch outs, your follow-ups, your marketing, all that stuff. So still keep in touch with everybody during these times. Another thing he was talking about was putting your money down and taking chances. So even though we're not making as much money, this is a time to start to take risks and start to put your money towards things that could potentially help you make money. So last week we talked about AI tools with Ron, and he's like, start diving into those technologies that now that you've got the time, start to put your money into some of those techs. Other stuff I was talking about, like last week we had the direct mail guys. Did any of you guys listen to that session last week? I thought it was really good. So these guys, their advertising obviously worked. They mailed us out this package to our desk, and we get a lot of people reaching out trying to sell you guys stuff. This one, I don't know, it stood out to me because it's a company, they're family run as well. It's called Post Now. They do things like they'll create your marketing materials for you. They had a really great presentation. So if you haven't watched that, I would go on our YouTube channel. But they'll do things like if you just sold a house and you want to get a letter written out to all the neighbors to let them know you sold a home and to contact you, or just listed cards, marketing. They have so many branded postcards, but they'll design it for you. You'll pick the postal code and then they'll mail it out. It's like an all-in-one service. So things like this, like if you guys are thinking about different ways to grow your business, it's time to take risks, and doing direct mail might be one of those things where you're like, you know what, I haven't spent any money on any marketing in the last while. Why don't I give direct mail a shot? Or maybe even thinking about doing social media ads, whatever it is, like start to think of just different ways to maybe throw some money out there and see if what sticks. Not everything's going to work, but you're not going to know. Like lots of people can get negative and say direct mail doesn't work, paid ads don't work, but unless you're trying it, you're never going to know. So this is a good time to start to test the waters and figure out what will help you make money. Another trick he had, which I kind of liked, was customers always right. I'm getting a lot more agents calling me trying to fight with their clients or try to reason with them and convince them to do certain things these days, or telling them what the right decision is. And sometimes like the clients are going to hear our advice and they're just going to do the opposite. And so instead of trying to fight with our own clients, like let's just treat them like they're always right. So if they want to go, he was talking about shopping on the east side versus the west side. So even though we think the east side's a better decision for them, they might fire you if you keep sending them west side properties, because that's not what they want. They want the east side, but we know the west side's better. But we need to stop fighting with our clients and just start treating them like they're correct, and how like we want to do the things that they want to do. What was another one? This one just reminded me of Sanic. I think he's on the line right now. A stranger is a friend you haven't met. Sometimes a lot of us agents aren't even doing any marketing. We're not doing social media. We're not doing paid ads. We're not doing anything to market ourselves. But we forget that even just going to social gatherings and going up to meet people and talk to people when you're like going out, that is a form of marketing as well. We just had my sister's 30th surprise birthday on Friday, and it actually kind of shocked me just to see dad. Claire was walking around introducing himself to all of my sister's friends. She had Dragon Boat friends there, friends she went to university with. Claire's walking around introducing himself, and like we're a fairly shy family, so I was like, wow, Dad, you're very like outgoing. He's like, this is business. This is business. And I'm like, oh, okay. So Claire made his way around and he introduced himself to all of Abby's friends. And then of course, Sanic was there. So Sanic's being social and drinking. He might have got cut off at a coffee shop, but he was there and he was socializing too. And like, he didn't pass out any cards or do anything, unfortunately, but I'm sure he left some impact on some people. Let them know he was in real estate. We all know Sanic. He's a very social person. You won't find him doing door knocking or cold calling or any of that. But what he is good at is putting himself out there to go meet strangers. So if we're not doing the marketing efforts, when you are in those social situations, go up to strangers, go introduce yourself, let them know you sell real estate and start to kind of put yourself out there. What else? And then the last one, he was talking about being proud that you're a salesperson. A lot of agents that I speak with, especially fresh out of school, they say they don't want to be salesy or they don't want to be a salesperson. And at the end of the day, on our business card, we are sales representatives. So we are salespeople. We should be proud of that. And just because we're salespeople doesn't necessarily mean that we're slimy and gross. Like we can be really good salespeople that actually do care about our clients and do a good job. So be proud of your sales roles. And what was he saying? Things don't get sold without salespeople. So we are here to sell homes. Any of the other, I know you liked a session today, I think, but did you get anything out of it too?
Didn't know.
I made lots of notes. So yeah, that was the tips for this week. We're not doing any Wednesday training this week. We're going to take a little break. We just did 4 weeks in a row. So we'll take a little bit of a break on our training, but tomorrow, I don't know if any of you guys went to that. We had an accountant speak about Prex about a month ago. She sent me another invite. She's going to be doing a session tomorrow on capital gains. I actually have been getting a lot of questions on capital gains lately. So I'm going to send a link out for that. It's a webinar that's happening tomorrow.
Did anybody happen to hear the news today that Freeland talk about capital gains tax? Anybody heard a little speech today?
Mm-mm.
Anyway, okay. You'll hear it later on. So anyways, they're supposed to vote on it today, whether or not they're going to go ahead with that, with the capital gains. So, but they haven't, well, as long as the NDP agrees, then it'll go through. So.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe a good session then tomorrow.
They're talking about today. Had to be approved by, I think it's June 25th or something. Yeah, but they're talking about today at in Ottawa. She's I don't know. Okay, I won't get political. I said enough, right?
Other training sessions. So Vran reached out. He's going to do a session with us next Wednesday on the 19th. He's going to be talking about reverse mortgages. He had a bunch of different topics, so he thought it would be a good time to talk about reverse mortgages. So if you guys want to tune into that, I think they're coming in person and online, but I'll double check with him. June 20th, Kathleen Black, she's doing a session. I don't know if some of you guys listen to Kathleen Black. She's very high thinking. So sometimes she doesn't resonate with a lot of people. Sometimes you walk out being like, what did I just listen to? Other people can really tune in, but I got a free webinar session that she's doing on the 20th. So I'll send it out to whoever wants to do that, but she's going to be talking about getting your systems in place. That's a lot of the topics that I nerd out on as well, but I'll send out a link for Kathleen Black. She's a really good coach as well. She talks mostly on teams and stuff like that, but if you haven't listened to her, I'll send a session for her. And then David Greenspan, he wants to come talk to you guys at the end of June. He's hosting a seminar in September in Toronto. I think it's a 2-day mastermind. So he's going to talk a little bit about that. It might be a little bit of a sales pitch, but I said he could come in and kind of talk to you guys if you haven't listened to David Greenspan. So I'm sure Kathleen Black's probably going to sell something as well, but We were trying to get like a session going for you guys to maybe get like a 5 weeks, 4 week program, whatever it is, with all these different coaches out there. So I think if you guys are thinking about different training in the fall, we're gonna start to see them all come back, like Richard Robbins and all of them. I'm sure will be coming back in the fall time to kind of sell some 1 or 2 day events. But I'm gonna get you guys familiarized with Kathleen and David, and then these are just different coaches to kind of follow in the industry as well. So that's on the coaching realm. That's all I got.
Okay.
Okay, we're not on realm.
We're not in realm yet. Okay, so just a couple more things here. So does anybody use Borrowell? Anybody know what Borrowell is? Okay, so Borrowell is an Equifax product that's available to the consumer that you can get an app and you can check your own credit score. And it's from Equifax. I'm not sure whether or not landlords or listing agents would accept that as being an Equifax report. Probably not, but it's a good idea just for yourself to get an idea whether or not your client can afford to buy something. But on there, they're allowing, and we talked this about a month ago or so, we never heard any more about it, but they're allowing people to register with Borrowell their rent payments to try to increase their credit score. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I don't know how it works, but somehow the client, the tenant reports their rent, but I don't know how they can police it. I don't know how I don't know how it works to be. I don't know how they can find out whether it's the truth or not. I don't know.
Well, that would be a good thing.
I would think the landlord would, if the landlord reported it, that's fine too. But then the landlord, we're dealing with consumer landlords, and I'm not sure whether I trust the landlords either. But anyways, they're going in there where you can actually increase your credit score by 30, 40, 60 points just by making your payments on time for your rental. So it's something to think about. If you got somebody that's on the edge, you don't quite qualify, then they can do that. As a landlord, you might want to see if that Borrowell's there. So I do it myself just to check it once in a
That's a
while.
nice thing for landlords to know too, because sometimes if a tenant has a bad credit score, at least they can see if they pay their rent on time, maybe. So it might be another.
Because there's
factor to look
that other
into.
website that talks about bad tenants where you can actually report a bad tenant. But again, I don't know how they police that. Do you have any idea, Nelson? Look at Nelson here.
The bad tenants.
Yeah.
You have to have judgment and all that, and then you submit.
Yeah.
It's public record. So
Mm.
once they,
So, all right, so if you got some kind of
this going
ruling, if you got a
on.
ruling from LTB, you can register this LTB ruling on this website, and then the website will report saying this guy's a bad tenant. I was just wondering how they audited it, so.
it's bad tenants.
Bad tenants.ca maybe.
Anyway, so just going back to MLS, so we're switching over to Realm, and Realm is this company called PropTex, and PropTex is owned by us. I don't know how we make money with it, but it's owned by Toronto Real Estate Board, who's us. And they just got all these other boards to join us. Which boards have recently joined us on Realm or Stratus?
Quinty.
The Quinty board, the Peterborough board,
Barrie.
Barrie board, the London board, and Toronto board. Of course, then there's Durham, there's Northumberland. They've always been there, in
I think
Kingston.
Oakville's in the middle of.
Is in Kingston too?
I don't know what Kingston. Maybe.
Not yet. Quinty. Anyway, so they've all done now. So the other side, the competitor for PropTex is ITSO. ITSO runs Hamilton and Windsor and Waterloo and Simcoe County and other places there. So basically, PropTex and ITSO are having a battle. Mississauga Real Estate Board, for all I don't know, I don't understand Mississauga Real Estate Board. They have ITSO as well. You can join the Mississauga Real Estate Board to get access to ITSO, and they've agreed. Come in July, but they put a hold on it. But they've got together with Hamilton, Mississauga, and Simcoe, and Waterloo to join one board called Cornerstone. So rather than call them Mississauga board or Simcoe board, they're going to call it Cornerstone. They've agreed to amalgamate their boards and use ITSO as the database. But when they made the agreement, they also were expecting London St. Thomas board to join this club as well. But London joined PropTex, not ITSO. So now these guys are up in the air whether or not they want to go ahead and switch, or whether they want to switch over to PropTex.
I just went to Oakville a couple weeks ago, their office, and they're debating right now on joining PropTech or ITSO, and they were asking me which one to join as well. And so Oakville's also their own little baby board.
So I wouldn't be surprised this time next year, all the Southern Ontario boards would be part of Realm. So I think that'll be good news for a lot of people here. I'm sure you don't have to belong to two boards. Problem Mississauga board, they have to belong to two boards, and that's what they complain about.
Just join the club.
Because a lot of listings on Mississauga are TREB listings, not Mississauga board member listings. So anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to do the math? Anybody, you guys ever get asked, hey, I want to build my own house, I want to build a building lot, I want to build, get a building lot and build my own place. So here's a guy here. I just want you guys to do the math and tell me what you think of this place. It's a property at 1968 Valley Farm. Just for an exercise, Valley Farm, which I believe is north of Finch and south of I think it's just on the corner, just the corner there at Finch and Valley Farm. Probably on the north side. Anyways, he's asking for the building lot of 40, it's about 46 foot by 115. It's a building lot. It's got an old story and a half on it right now, old wartime home on it. So he's selling the lot for $800,000. Or he'll sell you the house, which is 3,500 square feet. He'll sell you the house for $1.8 million
When it's done.
when it's done. And his chat GGP describes the property as a welcome new custom home and unparalleled luxury nestled within an exclusive enclave of the Rouge Valley. Opulence meets serenity, meticulously crafted estate home. It's obviously chat GP words. Anyway,
ChatGPT.
so I'm looking at Jess back here and a couple other people. So would you buy the house for $1.8 million or would you buy the lot for $800,000, build your own house? 3,500 square feet. Yes.
Let's do some math.
So Jess, what do you think? What's the better deal? Buy the lot and build your own house or
I'd buy the lot.
buy the house with a lot on with the house on it?
If you do the math. I don't know.
So in my idea, you buy the house. 100% you buy the house
514 a square foot.
because what can you build a house for nowadays? One house, one off house. I've heard
600.
different numbers. Give me a price per square foot.
600.
Anywhere 500 to 800.
Hmm? How much per square foot?
500 to 800.
500, 300.
We got a contract.
Don't forget this house exists. You don't have to pay development fees or anything. You're not paying development fees. Okay, so you can buy a cheap house for $300. You can buy a good house for $500. So let's say $400 a square foot average times 3,500. So 3,500 times
This one's 514 a square
No.
foot.
no 3,500 times 400. It's going to
1.4.
cost you $1.4 million to build this house and $800,000 for the lot. 2.2, or you buy the whole thing for 1.8. I'm buying the house, not the lot. If you buy a lot, you're gonna have 800,000 cash, right?
Yeah.
Loan and everything.
So I don't shoot. So if you got a client that's thinking about having a lot and building a house, there's no money in it. You're far better off buying an existing house.
So that you can get a mortgage too.
There's the answer.
So what address is that?
1968 Valley Farm. Just want to give you an idea of it. You've got, got other people. What can you build a house there, Idris? You have any idea what price per square foot? What do you think is what's your experience for building a house? Do you have any concept about price per square foot to build a house?
He does contract.
400 or 500, yeah.
Right.
So in this case here, this guy here, this eyesight, you're better off to buy for 1.8, buy the 3,500 square foot house. For sure. So if there's a deal for somebody who wants it. Land transfer tax, just remind everybody, land transfer tax, everybody remembers land transfer tax? I'm sure everybody just goes to the computer and plugs it in. They don't know the formula anymore, right?
Yes. I go to
The
teacher
old days we had formulas, right? But just so you know, the average to buy a house in Toronto at the average price, the Toronto tax and the Ontario tax is over $40,000 just for an average house. And with the rebate, you get back 4,000 times 2, so you get $8,000 back, right? So it's expensive. But I didn't realize this in Ontario. You've got the taxes up to I think it's $2 million. It starts to split. I didn't realize though in Toronto, Yeah, land transfer tax, anything over $2 million is 2.5%. That's the Ontario tax. In Toronto, though, anything over $2 million and $3 million, if I wrote it down here or not, got it somewhere. It goes up to 3.5%, and if you're up to the $10 million properties, it goes to 7.5%. So be careful on if you're buying Toronto properties over $2 million, it's a different tax rate. So use your calculators or use other stuff, but just be aware.
You can go to c2onfulton.com and there's a land transfer calculator on it. I use that one.
But you gotta use one for Toronto too, so.
Yeah, it says Toronto first time home buyer.
And the first time home buyer rebates for Toronto, you can never own a house before anywhere in the world at any time. You cannot requalify. Your RSPs, you can requalify. Does anybody remember RSPs? What's the limit now for RSPs? 35,000, huh?
Yeah.
But I thought they wanted to change that. So I'm not sure when they're gonna do it, but Freeland wants to change that to $60,000, and maybe they're talking about that for June 25th as well. So it'll be changing from 35 to 60,000. And if you're buying new houses, they can also use an amortization. They can extend the amortization if you're buying brand new. Okay, I saw okay, now we'll get to Realm. Almost. I saw just off topic here, I saw something on Instagram, I guess that Katelyn posted saying we had 175,000 views on all the Instagram or YouTube. YouTube videos, 175,000 views on the Century 21 Fulton agent training. That's a lot. 175,000 is quite a bit. So hopefully you guys are looking at that. If you're not looking at it, somebody else
Someone's
is.
looking at it.
But I came across it, and one of them was and I wanted to see which ones sort of getting the most hits. I went to the Instagram one, and you talked about Instagram showing it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I started looking at it again. I thought this is a pretty good resource. I mean, if you guys go to the C21 Fulton agent training YouTube and look on their Instagram, it's about an hour long. It's an hour and a half long. It's a long one. But if you really want to get involved in Instagram and get deep into it, then I would recommend looking at that video just to get an idea what's happening with Instagram and how to work it and how to run it. Just a thought.
One conference wants me to maybe talk about in Ottawa because it got a lot of people on that one.
All
It's
right.
actually a good resource if you guys are thinking about YouTube as well. It's a lead gen source. I know, like, I have like a little baby channel. It's only like 3,000 followers, I think, but you guys could start to put out content about buying and selling houses for people. And the beauty of YouTube versus Instagram is that it's like a search engine, and like someone could be looking up like, hey, what neighborhood should I move in Durham, or how to buy my first house, and it will always consistently pop up, even if it's from like a year ago, 2 years ago. And then in the comments, if you're putting like your Calendly or something, you guys can start to get people to like sign up for newsletters and stuff. I get people reaching out to me from our YouTube channel, mostly real estate agents, obviously, but it is a lead gen source. People book appointments to potentially work here, or like they do research and YouTube pops up. So if you're thinking about videos and stuff, YouTube is one that I would hop on soon.
Okay, Realm. I don't know, can we show screen or no?
Yep,
Can we log into Toronto?
I can. Do you have something you want to show?
Yeah, so we'll log into Realm right now.
I was gonna pop out my email, but let's see. The one I sent out last week with all the links.
Is everybody getting used to the sign in around there with that two-step thing? I guess it's like anything.
I like it way better than the app, to be honest.
You like it better than the clarity? Yeah.
It just pops up. All right. Are you directing?
I'll drive. Let me drive. Okay, so somebody went into Realm last week, and this is the screen they saw, and they flipped out. Right? So let me show you the first trick. I showed you a trick last week. I'm going to show you a trick right now, but this trick's only good for about 6 weeks. If I go up here to the waffles, and I go here to this to Stratus. I'm on Stratus.
But don't do that.
I don't do,
It's going away soon.
He's doing that every day.
Everyone's, I know, there's gonna be people that doing it, but we gotta, what do we got? A month and a bit.
so if you want to do Stratus and you go to your home page, which is fine. It's not secure, so they don't want you doing this. I want everybody to think about going here, and it's called the Realm Hub. When you go to Realm Hub, everything is Realm here. So you've got news, you've got learning, you got videos, you got frequently asked questions. It's all here. If I just go to the learning, I've got training, and I've got making the transition from Stratus to Realm. Unfortunately, if you want to do, actually, this is okay. This is one I like. This is probably the best one you could do. Very first one, and it'll actually show you. I think this one it'll show you what it looks like on Stratus and what it looks like on Realm. So you can cross-reference the two, and you sort of hopefully starts connecting the dots, right? Or you can do the beginner training. It's all here. Go straight to beginning training or advanced training or searching. So you want to start off with one of these three. If you haven't got any, if you're not used to it, start off with one of those three. If you like in-person classes, this is good too. Unfortunately, they fill up fast.
Do they charge for them? Some of them
No.
cost money. These ones don't? Okay.
So getting started with Realm. This one here, I believe, is at Trev. I checked this. Yes. So you've got a whole bunch here. The next one's on January 26th. And it's for 2 hours, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It's at Trev. So I did say January, but I meant June.
July, June. There's lots of seats remaining though.
Just trying to see if everybody's listening. So if you can't sit in front of a screen and look at it, then go to this.
Don't wait for us, just in case.
Hands-on training,
Mhm.
hands-on.
I think in person.
I tell you, we've got hands-on, we've done hands-on training with 2 people.
Mhm.
Forget about 10, 2 people, and we can't do it because one person is so far ahead than the other person.
Mhm.
It's almost impossible. So you have to dig in yourself and have a look at it. You can ask any one of us questions. You can ask Ginny, myself, anybody, how do we do this? And we'll sit down with you, do one-on-one, but I'm not going to sit down.
Sure.
It's impossible for us to sit down with somebody, okay, let's start. And then,
I feel like we've done the group training and no one really absorbs it either. You're just clicking on the buttons
Like,
we
and-
tell you
and
to. You
here's-
almost have to just sit with
yeah,
yourself
and
into
and
it.
not to pick on anybody here, or anybody else, but it's human beings, right? And we'll sit down with somebody, okay, they want to learn Realm, and we sit down with, okay, we log in. And what have you done so far? Nothing. What do you mean nothing? Well, you haven't even done like a single screen. You haven't played with it, you haven't opened it, you haven't done anything, nothing. So as I'm saying, to get the most out of training, you better take off one of these courses here, get an idea of what's happening. It's like when we try to train MoxieWorks, and we spend the first 20 minutes trying to figure out your password. Right? Like it's just, you know, it's not a good, it's not efficiency for time. Because we can teach you so much faster, but it's.
It should be.
I'm looking at Nelson. All right, so.
Has anyone
and-
not opened?
And just, okay, so I looked at this one video, and then
my God.
we're fun, we're my friends here, right? I opened up this one video, and I thought it was very good, and I sent it to 4 special people. So, I'm not, I'm not looking at anybody. And I thought these 4 special people would benefit by having this little heads up on what's going on. And I asked all 4 people, so what do you think of it? And all 4 of them said, I haven't looked at it. So I can say, so I can save 50% of my time, I can save by looking over here, and the other 50%, anyway, so you understand my point, right?
Yeah. So everyone should be opening this
So,
up.
so I think everybody wants to wait to the end. Now, we still have this one here. I'm not sure we can send this out again or not.
I think it's still,
I think
it still
relevant.
goes. It's still relevant, but
Can you do it here or-
no. Well, maybe. Let me look. I think if it. I created like a step-by-step course like last year for you guys. The thing is, there was a trick for it too. Let's see if this works. Verification code. Yeah, I created a course. I could send this link out again for you guys.
Just want to show the first one.
Yeah.
Now we created this is just a, what do we call it here? Online course, whatever it is. It's Realm Training. It's a mini online course. You have to register it. You can register with your email address and password. It doesn't mean you're paying anything. Just register it so we know that you signed up for it. And what Katelyn did is we boiled down.
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Yikes.
We are going to get started by.
We boiled it down into like 3 and 4 minute videos. So it's not sitting there for an hour and a half. We just do it for just short little quick little thing. How do I sign in? How do I share a property? How do I save a search? Just little quick little videos, right? So let's just show one.
Yeah, that's me as well.
Search for a property.
Where'd you see that? Chapter 1. That's just how to log in. 12.
Or the very first.
Create a property search.
Okay,
I don't
so
think you guys online will be able to hear it, but
so this is a 2-minute video.
The location of the area. So.
I find watching this might not be, I don't know, it depends on your training style, but
Keep narrowing it down there. Let's open favorites. Once you've chosen the area, the neighborhood that you're specifically looking at, just have it done. And then you're going to move across these tabs at the top here. So we're on, you want to see what's available on the market, and then we're done. We're going to choose freehold, condo. Today we're going to look at freeholds and detached. Done. That's going to move right over to beds and baths. Let's say we want 3 bedrooms. What price point are we looking at? Let's say. Done. And then you've got this other option here where you can really narrow down the filter. So you decide if you want to see price changes, how many days on the market, linked properties, square footage, parking spots, and all of that good stuff. So this is where you're really going to customize that search for where you find your.
and that's it.
Okay, so simple little thing, just a little 2 minutes, just to give you an idea. It's not complete. There's a couple of mistakes I saw there, but that's okay. Nobody else notices, which is fine.
The other thing you guys can look up, which is what I was doing when you're on Realm, there's this little thing here on the side that says show me how. So it will go on your screen with what you're doing. So if you're like, how do, well, they changed our tasks. You can go step by step, like create a property search, and it will literally, while you're on the screen, tell you where to click. So if you're very new and haven't opened it, I would go straight to the show me how and let them point out different tasks to show you on your computer where to click. So you're not just following a video and trying to click with it. I would go to this thing.
Go back to the Realm Hub.
What's the Realm Hub?
This
This?
one. So you've got different types of learning skills or different types, and you have to decide what type of person you are. So you're the one that wants to look at pictures and things like that. That's fine if you prefer to read things instead. But okay, so no, you do webinars, you can do in class, you can read things too. So we have this. Sorry. Gonna go back to the hub here and learning.
You want to read?
Getting started guide. Okay, getting started guide for salespeople. Here.
So if you prefer to read
So
it,
if you prefer to read it and sort of cross-reference, go back and forth, there's this as well. So you decide what type of learning skill you have and or learning whatever the way you can learn best.
I learn better this way. To be honest.
You know, some people want to watch somebody push buttons, some people want to read something, some people want to see a video, some people want to go in-house, some people want, there's all kinds of options, but you have to do it quick. Somebody wanted to do an in-house thing last week and Toronto Real Estate Board was booked and they had to go to Barrie. So if you're thinking about doing it, don't wait till the last minute because everybody else will as well, and those in classes will be full. Let's try and find this one here. This is the Google contents. There's another one here. This is like 12, there's 42 page one.
User guide?
User guide. There we go. 42 here.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one here is 42 pages. So it's a user guide. So if you want to go step by step and it shows pictures and it shows you how to do on your setup on your phone as well as set up on your desktop.
The app is really good, actually. I feel like I learned how to use it on my desktop by using the phone app, if that makes sense. I almost went the backwards way, but the phone app's really good.
Somebody asked why we doing Realm. They're doing it because Stratus is old and it's not modern and it doesn't talk to other types of programs. It was designed for Realm was designed for your phones. It was designed for mobile. But I'm not sure it was designed for salespeople because I'm not sure how many people can do CMA on your phone. Everybody done a CMA on their phone? CMA, it's all done on the computers, and it's all done on desktop. I mean, to work on the phone is too small. There's not enough data to really feel that it's there. But anyways, Pete's got the most expensive phone in the world. Questions. So another question is, okay, so go to your Realm again. So
Like, where am I?
right
Here.
Go to the house up there from. Okay, so this is the desktop. Sorry, no, this is your desktop. This is your view, and a lot of times you look at this and you think, what am I looking at? It's too, it's too much, right? For you. So the very first thing you're gonna do when you're looking for property, you're gonna hit the search button. And now you're into an area where you probably want to go and you start searching from there. So I know that some people are freaked out and where's the search? Like, where do I search?
What's interesting is it will pull up your most recent search, whereas Stratus just like resets it. So obviously I was just looking at these, but to reset the search, you go to searches and then new search, and it will reset blank. So you can start a whole new search. Am I on the wrong view?
And I
for you?
prefer the consumer view myself. I use the consumer view more than anything else.
There's many, yeah.
This to me makes sense in my head, the consumer view.
I like the table view.
It cuts out at 10,000 searches, right, like results.
Yeah.
Remember in
10,000.
Stratus, we used to get the GTA and how many houses and all. How do we get that now?
Okay, so there's little tricks here so you learn. So when you so the question here is from Sam, it says 10,000, how, I just said there's 22,000 listings. How come it only shows 10?
This is all of Ontario, I think.
No. So you're gonna go to more filters. You're gonna go to more filters. This is where it gets a little tricky here. So more filters. And at the bottom there, you see this little word called explain. See where it says explain at the bottom?
Yeah.
Hit explain, and that will break down and it'll tell me there's 32,000 listings in all of Ontario.
Free.
Close that for a moment. Let's go back to location. Let's just pick Toronto. Let's pick Durham. You gotta pick 5 of them. Toronto, Peel, Durham, Halton, York. Now do the explain. No, it's a problem. Oh, and it's freeholds and condos. So anytime you see that 10,000, you go down to that explain, and it'll tell you there's 23,093 active listings. So it's all there. So if somebody asks me at home, where do I get my information? I get it here. So I can also just click off the condos, click off, those get the other numbers.
Got lots.
So any questions on Realm? Everybody okay?
We all exposed.
So again, yes, we will sit down with one person. We won't sit down more than one person.
Too
So-
much.
So if you want some tutoring, then just put your hand up. Otherwise, all the stuff's here. But when you put your hand up, the question we're gonna ask you is, what have you looked at so far? You say nothing, we're gonna put you back of the line.
Get out. Get out. You gotta at least try before we
You gotta-
open
you gotta At least
it.
try and have a question. Don't sit there and say, what do you know? Nothing.
Yeah.
All right, are we okay with all that stuff? So it doesn't happen till July 30th, but
Knowing you guys, July 28th is when you're gonna open it, but don't do that. What if your clients want to go see a property and you don't know how to search it? You're in big
I've
trouble.
got the bad joke, right? The bad joke in Hong Kong. Hong Kong was a British colony for 99 years. They had a lease for 99 years. After 99 years, it went back to China. So everybody knew this date was there, and then 2 days before the final day, there was a 4-mile lineup for people trying to get the British papers. And my thing was, of course, they had 99 years to do this. They waited 2 days before. So I know 2 days before July 30th, someone's gonna say, what's this realm all about?
We're gonna have to leave, our calendars empty that last week. Anyway, okay, we'll see you online, people.